guys, welcome back to Don't Forget the Art. I am so excited that you are here, and I am excited about today's project. Today we are talking about Walt Disney. Walt Disney was born December 5th, 1901, and he is, of course, a household name. He is a pioneer of animated cartoons. He is an illustrator, cartoonist himself, director, producer, just amazing entrepreneur. He's the founder of Disneyland and Walt Disney World, and he is the creator of so many beloved characters like Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, and all of those characters that we have come to love. On top of that, even though he passed in 1966, his legacy still lives on. So where he was constantly pushing the envelope ever since Steamboat Willie, when he came up with the first animated cartoon that had the sound voices that coincided with his movie, all the way up to his first full-length animated movie with Snow White, I believe. And then he just was constantly pushing the envelope. And honestly, Disney is probably as big as it is because they are constantly doing that. They're constantly pushing themselves to do new things with every single movie. And while most of their artwork, most of their movies have gone into digital and 3D and things like that, I'm still kicking it old school here, and I'm going to be doing it on paper and pencil, and I'm gonna get even bold enough. I pulled out my ink pens, so we're gonna do that. So I'm going to start with some drawing. Now, again, I don't know where you are with your comfort level with drawing, but I have been doing a lot of studying and research this week because, as many of you know, I am not a cartoon artist. I'm just not. I have tried for years. They've never come out right. I'm not sure if I just wasn't in the right place at the right time, but it just didn't work out right. So this week I have done a lot of studying, and now I feel like I am sitting here ready to take my test. I've sharpened my pencils, and I've got my extra pencil sharpener. I've got erasers. I told you I've got my pens, and I've got a couple sketchbooks because that's one thing that I have been doing this week is playing around with, as I've been studying other Disney artists and the like, I have been doing a lot of practicing. All right, so one thing I would recommend, and I'm going to talk about it in another video, is getting sketchbooks. But that's that. So the first thing I would say, if you want to do this drawing part of this work, would be to just start getting warmed up. Now, one thing I hear as an artist, and I hear it a lot, is I can't draw. I can't even draw stick people. Now, usually I just smile and nod because, people probably don't want to have an argument about their abilities to draw. But yeah, you could probably draw a stick figure. I'm pretty sure you are. And I'm going to prove that anyone can draw right here. So if you've got paper, that'd be great. I have got my little sketch pad here. If you've got a sketch pad, go ahead and get that out. Or pieces of paper. That's really all you're going to need for this project, okay? Really simple, really easy, and this is just going to be a warm-up, okay? So one of the things that a lot of the artists that do a lot of this line work talked about was really just getting warmed up and practicing, okay? So practicing doing some lines. Because one thing with the line work, and probably one reason why I have never really been all that great with doing the Disney style, is because it's a lot of line, okay? And when you're doing it, you really need to have bold lines, okay? The chicken scratch thing is not something that you normally see. It looks funny even here. With the Disney artwork, okay? Or this type of style of animation, cartoon artwork. It's all lines. Okay, and I think one of the other things that's always intimidated me about it is the fact that every line counts because it's such a minimalistic, simplistic type of piece. But I've done a lot of work this week, and we'll see how it goes. So after you got some lines and you've maybe connected some dots and gotten things to work so you can do bold lines, one swooping lines, you can move into some curves. I told you I was nervous. See, even my palm's a little sweaty. Don't tell anybody. Okay, so work on doing some of those, and that'll help to get you warmed up. And you know, it's kind of early when I'm recording this here, but I did the same thing. I got myself warmed up with a sketch to start out with. So that would be where I would suggest that you start. Okay, then the second would be really to think about drawing. Okay, so when you are drawing, when you're sketching, when you're looking at faces especially, one of the wonderful things about characters and animation and whatnot is it really is pretty simple. And again, through my research study, reading, watching videos, even trying, my kids have been conveniently watching some Disney movies lately. And I've been trying to pay attention myself to, you know, what they're doing or what they're watching. The faces are pretty simple. So here you go. Here's where I can prove that you can draw. See, because if you can draw a circle and draw 2 circles there and that, see, now you got a face. And most of you can see that that is probably a happy face, okay? And you can, you know, put your eyebrows in, pretty content. Ooh, that one makes, kind of looks angry. Okay? All right, so simply by changing a few different features, okay? Namely, the eyes, the eyebrows, and the mouth is essentially how you can get your different facial expressions with animation. Okay, let me see if I can do this. Okay, so we can go from that to this. And that person is probably sad, maybe a little, you know, a little upset. Everybody can see that, okay? We've been kind of trained from a young age to recognize that that's probably a sad face. Let's try something else here. Let's try. Okay, that person's probably mad. All right. You can tell by the eyebrows, the face is kind of crazy. Okay, what about this one? Okay, that person's probably a meh. Let's see if I can try one more. Okay, let's see. Okay, really big eyes. Okay, I could even probably do this one. Let's try, do I have some space up here? Let's try this one up here. Okay, really big eyes, lots of white in the eyes. Same nose. Mouth wide open and eyebrows way up here. Okay, that person is probably surprised, excited, shocked. Something amazing just happened, or they saw something pretty cool, right? Let's try this one. Okay, let's see. Big eyes, probably too big of eyes. Okay, let's try. Okay, that one's probably worried, confused, not quite sure what's going on. Okay, so just by changing a few little things in the face, we can recognize that you know, what's going on, what that person is probably thinking or feeling or something like that. And really that's the basics for doing this kind of art. All right, really simple. And one way that I've learned how to kind of play around with this, as I have been doing some of my research, is to really just kind of dig into simplifying the lines. You probably can't see it from here, but I left all of my chicken scratch pencil marks pretty lightly, but it's still there. And so using the pencil as my guide, again, you can use this on the computer if you're into the computer graphic design and things like that. But you can use different layers, and that's all I'm doing here. Again, just kind of doing it the old-fashioned way with the pencil and leaving that in as I am putting my lines over it, and I can nicely erase it. This was watching my pooch. So some of these last night was my pooch. I was trying to kind of figure this out. I was on a roll. And so another thing that you're going to want to do is once you're on a roll, once you're studying it, once you're searching it, you really want to go with it. Okay. It's going to help to develop that muscle memory in order to do it. And then this one was the one that I was warming up with today. Okay. So, the bottom line is that it comes down to, with this kind of animation art, it really comes down to lines. Simplifying the lines, simplifying the expressions so that every line counts and you can get across your point in the simplest way possible. Some of the other features that you could look at Disney art, especially as it has gone through the years, the eyes have definitely gotten bigger. And that kind of makes sense to me, because if one of the biggest things that we look at when we are looking at another person, one of the biggest things that you look at is the eyes. Okay, so when I'm doing a pet portrait, when I'm doing an actual portrait of a person, or even just a sketch of an animal, one of the first things that I focus on is the eyes. And why would that be? Because that's one of the first things that you're drawn to. When you're looking at something that has eyes, you're naturally tended to look at the eyes. The second with an animal is the nose. Okay, so the first two things when I'm working on a pet portrait that I usually get in place would be the eyes and the nose. Those are the first two. Everything else kind of falls into place once you get those two items in place, or at least that's what I have found. So for this one, for the others, I kind of forgot the eyeballs and the eyelids, but trying to work on that today to remember that there is really a three-dimensionality to that as well, and that can help to make your things more three-dimensional. So if you look at Disney art, it has really gone from a 2D to a 3D. People go back and forth about which one they prefer. It's really a personal preference. I'm not sure which one you like the most, but that's really where it is. So if you would prefer to stay more two-dimensional, you don't have to worry about that layering of the eyeball and the eyelid and all of that such. You can leave it as more of a flat piece of artwork. If you like that three-dimensionality to that kind of the pups or whatever it is that you're sketching, you can go ahead and put that in there and give it that three-dimensionality. So if I was to take this, I could finish this up. So why don't I go ahead and do that? I'm sure that this can probably be put into a fast forward so you don't have to watch every step, but I will. So the biggest thing is really just letting go, putting down confident lines as I'm working. So again, every line really counts. Okay, I'm going to start with my eyes. Here's my eyes. Okay, I'm going to call this my puppy, but it's been debated as to whether or not my sketches actually look like my dog. She has got so many features to her. Her coloring would probably be the biggest one. That she's definitely hard to sketch, but my argument's sake, I'm going to say this is my pooch. She is such a sweet pooch, and I have tried drawing her in the past. It just doesn't always work out the way that I want it to, and that's okay. The one thing I can say with certainty, and I'm probably going to go into it in another talk some other time, you know, one of the things I've loved about doing these videos for you is it has really forced me out of my comfort zone, and I certainly didn't do that on purpose. A lot of it was done not really for me, but for you, for my kids. But I have certainly felt like I have been reaping the benefits of it in my artwork. I think that it has helped me improve as an artist, and you know, even with this, I can see where doing this would help me in the future with feeling more comfortable with my line work and whatnot. And I hope you, that's, I guess, one of the reasons why I hope you challenge yourself and push yourself to try some of the different projects, even if you're like, that's not really my thing. My kids wouldn't like that. I wouldn't like that. Oh, it's too hard. I thought the same thing with some of these projects, and they're fun. You know, some of them I might not ever try that style or that, whatnot again, especially in my professional dealings. But, it was fun to try once, and I think that when I do that, I think it helps me in other areas of my artwork. Trying abstract, I think, actually helps me with my realism. It helps me to relax and loosen up and not have to worry quite so much about certain things. So with the eyebrows or eyelids, I'm trying to remember that is a 3D ball that's in there. Okay. Talk a little bit more about that one. Swooping lines. Swooping lines. My pooch has a collar, and her name is Bijou. There you go. All right, well, that's kind of sort of. Okay, so that was what I started out with, and let me break it down for you so you could do your own pup. Okay, I'm going to do it with pencil. I'm going to do it as dark as I possibly can so it'll show up on the screen. Normally I would not draw this dark with a pencil if I was going to be doing this so I could erase it later. Okay, so what could we draw here? I've been having some pretty good luck with pups, so maybe I just stick with the puppy idea. Okay, and I'm going to do this one in a little bit more of a flat kind of way. So let's see. I did kind of a surprise one back here. So maybe I'll try that. Something a little bit more surprised. So what I was trying to think of this one was how she looked when I said the word treat. She's not in here, so I can hopefully say it. Okay, so usually when we say something like that, she has an older dog, so that one certainly looks more pup-ish. But she kind of gets this strange cocked head. Okay, now this is where it's not a bad idea to kind of draw in a few different circles here. Okay, this is where you're just trying to get warmed up and you're trying to get a basis of where the head is going to be. Okay, because remember, the head is a round circle. Okay, and then the jaw and stuff like that kind of come out from that round-esque circle. Okay, so this is the middle line here is going to be where her eyes are going to sit. Okay, and her schnoz is going to stick out pretty much just looking at you here. Okay, and she's got kind of a narrow schnoz, but because we're trying to do this and we're trying to make it look cute, we're going to make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so I'm going to start with her nose. Okay, and because I'm kind of doing a little cartoon type thing here, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger than it probably would be. Okay, and that's, I guess, one of the cool things about cartoons and drawings. It doesn't have to be perfect. Now, one thing I do want to get into is characters. So if that's something you're interested in, I love watching them when I go to the theme parks. They're always there. My husband and I have had ours done a couple times, and it's so fun. But you know, that really does look like the people. They're just so good at taking the people and, you know, cartooning them. Is that a word? I don't know if that's a word. But making them into a cartoon. I'm going to say they cartoon them. Okay. And she's got her little nostrils. She's got her schnoz that comes down here. Okay. And then she's got the lip. She's got the jowls. Her lips here, they come around. She's gonna look happy because I just said that I'm gonna give her a cookie. She's getting hard of hearing, so it used to be, you know, you couldn't even whisper it when you were around her. she would go berserk even if you whispered. She could hear it from another room. Now she hears it right away. It's the funniest thing. Okay, so here's her bottom lip. Okay. Alright. Here's her bottom lip. Alright, now, this is where her little nose is. So, you know, there is a, when you're looking at this, there is depth to it. I have foreshortened her nose. Her nose is a lot longer than this, as you know, with most dogs' noses. Okay, hers is going to be there. Now, she is excited, she's happy, so she's gonna have these big eyes. Okay, so I'm gonna just put in some circles for some eyes. Okay, they're pretty big because, you know, it's a cartoon and I just said cookie, and so she is going to go nuts. Of her nose here, so her eyes are going to kind of come out like that. Okay, her eyebrows or her eyelids are going to be pretty high up because I just said cookie. Okay, let's make her pretty. She didn't get any eyebrows or eyelashes the last time, so let's give her some eyelashes. I don't know why I'm putting that in now, but maybe she's just that shocked that I just said it. Okay, so she's like a happy surprised. So I'm going to leave some white around her The other thing that you really want, one of the things that you want to focus on, it's kind of hard to do. I mean, this is a cartoon, so I guess this doesn't really matter as much. But when you are doing pets and pet portraits, you really want to pay attention to where their eyes are and that they're looking at you. Okay? As creepy as it sounds, you really want it so that you know, when you're doing portraits, when you're doing pet portraits, you want those eyes to look at you. That's the best I can say. They'll actually kind of follow you around the room. It's a little weird when you're doing them here at the house, and you know, these eyes are following you wherever you go. But that's really the way to kind of sell it, that that is what it is to and actually let's make her kind of happy and smiling. So let's give her maybe that. I might change those eyes. All right. Okay, so do you see it starting to come together so far? Okay. I just said it, and so she's really big and big eyes, big eyebrows. Her ears are going to perk up, and she has got these cute floppy ears that just kind of pop out when she hears something, especially when she hears that word. Oh my gosh. She'll flop up. What do you guys call them? Treats or cookies? Or I don't know. It's funny. Most dogs, I guess, are the same way too. As soon as they hear that word, they know what that word is. Boom! Those ears go up and they get so excited. Okay, so here's where I'm going to connect her head, her mouth to the head. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and kind of put the rest of it together. Those eyebrows are really big and high up. And then she'll need a neck, and we can give her a simple collar, and that's it. Now from here is where it gets a little trickier. So this is where, if you've got you know, a Sharpie or some kind of a ink pen or something. You can use a regular marker. You can use whatever you want. This is where it's going to really start coming together. So all of these chicken scratches that I have done here is not what we are looking for. We are looking for clear, crisp, clean lines, as few of them as possible, to get my pooch to kind of come alive on the paper. All right, so that's where I'm going to do like I did before. I am going to take these lines and I am going to help to create this pooch to come together, to come alive for you as an animated critter. So let me try that again. I'm using Faber-Castell, these Pitt artist pens. They are ink. They are not water soluble, so they are waterproof. They're Indian ink. And they have maximum light fastness. What does that mean? That means that if I put this picture up on my refrigerator or something like that, it's not going to fade. Okay, so that's light fastness, is how quickly that color or whatever is going to fade. I really like these. I would recommend them. You can get them in packets, so you can get different levels, but you know, you can also get one at the store. I'm sure it's probably online on Amazon or whatever. I really like them. I would recommend them to anyone. But again, a marker, a Sharpie, whatever you've got here, this is where you take your pencil sketch and help it to pop, okay? This is where that practicing with those line works and things like that that you did before is going to really come together and help to make sure that your puppy picture is the best it can be. And here's where I'm going to kind of put the rest of it together here to kind of help. All right, so all of these are just guidelines. Let's get to it. Now, you could certainly color this if you wanted to. You can leave it black and white if you wanted to, or whatever color you're working on. If you're working with toned paper with brown or gray or something like that, oh my gosh, how cool is that? You can, you know, do some really neat stuff, and that can have some really cool special effects on it too. It's one of my goals this year is to try working with toned paper. But doing this, whichever style of artwork that you're really trying to get into, especially drawing, this is where having a sketchbook with you wherever you are, and maybe even a couple of them, is a good idea, okay? Because then it's going to give you opportunities wherever you are, whenever you have that free moment or whatever, to stop and practice and, you know, do your thing. She is so cute. Anyway, so yeah, this is my pooch. It's not perfect. It's not supposed to be. There are plenty of boo-boos all over the place here, and I could sit here and play around with it, and I could, you know, add some color, and that might help with some of it, but, you know, she's pretty cute, and hopefully you had some fun with it. Now, again, this is one of those where, you know, with doing it, you're going to make mistakes and, you know, make fun things happen and whatever, but this is the place to do it. This is the place to try and to start, and it's going to be messy. It's going to be fun and and awesome. And I really hope that you enjoyed this. I hope you try it. Again, there's going to be a second option here. If it is in a separate video, I am sure my editor is going to do something really cool so that you can find it. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this project. I hope you try it. I hope you share your pictures. Let me know what you think. Happy arting, everyone.